A lawmaker says that he wants to give New Yorkers more power over problematic auto repair shops. He's inspired by a recent CBS News New York investigation in which customers told us a garage in Brooklyn was holding their cars hostage. But investigative reporter Tim McNicholas shows us that some mechanics are not on board with this bill.
I finally got the car back.
Sarah Lee Ramsawak didn't think she'd ever see this car again. She says it was damaged in an accident back in May and towed to State Automotive in Brooklyn, where it stayed for 10 months.
Every time I inquired about getting my car back, I was told that I would have to pay exorbitant storage fee prices. And the only reason I received the car back was because of this story, I believe, being aired on CBS and your investigation.
You don't know where his car went? That investigation also helped another person, Louis Dennery, get his car back after a year and a half. Both Dennery and Ramsawak say their insurance had already paid for repairs, but State demanded storage fees, which the shop denies despite this exchange between Dennery and a man who said he runs the shop.
I'm not paying no storage. I don't care what you say.
I get in the car back.
When Dennery's car was towed here back in 2023, the garage, then called A9's Automotive, had already been telling its Instagram followers to follow our new business page called State Automotive. State regulators say A9's had a history of violations, including operating without a license and poor repairs. But about 2 months after Dennery's accident, the state's Department of Motor Vehicles approved a repair shop license for a new LLC under the name State.
I think it's crazy that the DMV could approve a license for the shop. I think there needs to be better checks and balances.
Over the phone, a shop employee apologized for the situation, but told CBS News New York the new LLC has nothing to do with the old one. Yet records show that 3 relatives with the same last name, Quiles, have helped create or manage State, A9's, and another troubled LLC that all operated at this location, shown here on Google Street View. 4 Better Business Bureau complaints also say A9's kept cars for months, and other customers have since reached out to CBS News New York with similar concerns.
This is exactly what my legislation is looking to address.
Assemblymember George Alvarez of the Bronx has been trying to pass a bill since 2023 to require input from local community boards before the DMV approves, renews, or transfers a repair shop license in New York City.
Because DMV, they may have records of what happened before, but they don't know the detail. They don't know everything about that repair shop in the community. The community does.
Alvarez says after seeing our reports, he revised his bill to specify that the DMV must consider any history of a shop's refusal to release a vehicle to its rightful owner despite having already received payment in full. But the Service Station Dealers of Greater New York Trade Association says the DMV regulates garages enough already.
It's going to be more opinionated because it could be somebody that's not happy with somebody's work that they did for whatever the reason is, whether it's the cost and things like that.
I just want to ask you your side of the story. You don't have to ask me nothing.
State has repeatedly refused our on-camera interview requests, but an employee told us over the phone that the shop fixed everything Ramsawak's insurance paid them for. He said the shop did a wheel alignment, test drove it to make sure it was good to go, and a week after our story aired, they returned it to Ramsawak. But she says she brought the car to another mechanic who's still working on it after telling her this.
They noticed that, first of all, a wheel alignment had not been completed, and it seemed like the car was not test driven before it was returned to me. It's just really frustrating.
State is being investigated right now by the DMV, and for that reason, the DMV said they can't do an interview for this story. We want to know what the DMV knew and when, so we requested their files on all of the repair shop LLCs that have operated at that garage at Atlantic and Nostrand Avenues, but they haven't given those to us yet. In fact, Christine, the DMV recently sent us a $2,200 invoice for search fees and page fees for those public records.
$2,200.
$2,200.
For them to search the records.
And I guess print them, search fees and page fees is the way they described it.
Some expensive paper. Okay, so Tim, tell us about Louis Dennery. I remember him from one of your original reports.
Right.
How is he doing? Does he have his car back?
He has his car back, but here's the thing. He says that the license plates were gone. He says he had to jumpstart his car to drive it home from state to state's storage lot. And he says he's still trying to get state to state to pay for the thousands of dollars in parking tickets that he says he got after his car was towed to that garage. Christine.
There's a lot of layers in this story,
There sure
Tim,
is.
and thank you for uncovering most of them. We appreciate it.
Of course.
Tim is one of our investigative reporters. If you have a story idea, just scan the QR code that you see on the screen.